I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Attack on Titan, Season 4, Episode 13. Man, for the first 3 seasons and first half of Season 4, I've been very speculative, interested in the world. I see a really big spider.
Oh!
I've been speculative of the world and theory crafting, and I feel like I can't do that anymore. I feel like I'm just so in awe of the story and what's happening and how many different elements they're juggling at the same time, and I'm just so invested, and I don't like Peak's here. Like they're throwing so much at me now that's so good that I'm just like okay, like Attack on Titan.
I think the other thing we need to add in about the narrative is, yes, there are so many different players and things going on, but through this narrative, there has been a reuse of different events or internal matters,
and
like
characters.
a coup, or, different parts of the government disagreeing with each other, infiltrating one of the locations. But it never feels tired or like, oh, we've already been there, done that, why is it happening again? Because it feels realistic to warring nations who are up and coming and growing and learning and expanding and starting to trade with other nations, and they're really growing into their own. We're watching basically the island learn about itself and grow into what it is going to be in the future and what relationships it's going to have with the rest of the world after that. And we also still have a war going on between Marley and the island. Like, of course, Marley, now we know, is going to do this surprise attack. Did not think that it was happening in the same time period as the last couple episodes that we got. And to have Peak there at the end came as a total surprise to me. And it was the best surprise.
Gabby and Falco are here. Like everything's converging.
It reminds me of how you noticed it and I didn't when Eren was in Marley, and you got him in little moments.
Yeah.
But there was also that newspaper scene, that was very interesting, that we thought maybe was Jean or something in Marley. And I don't know I don't think it was. It was never talked about again, but still, we were very, looking out to see if we noticed anything that was suspicious.
Yeah.
And then here to just have, these two characters in the front, and then just zoom in on this just random person on the street, and it be Peak, fit so well with how we saw Eren and Marley.
Yeah, you, this show at this point more than ever, is, completely, controlling my life in my free time. I'm always thinking about it. Last night you brought up a point to me about Attack on Titan and Eren because of just thinking about this show. It's so compelling.
Right. Last night I just started thinking about it. We didn't really discuss much about the idea of Eren not breaking himself out, but being broken out by others.
Yeah.
When we know that Eren had the capability to, he said that he did. So then I started to think about how the rumbling is this intimidation tactic, if you will, and that is a strategy to use. And if you're trying to show the public and the government that there is this super extreme support, willingness for violence support of Eren, that is a much bigger, thing to deal with. An enemy is a public display of support than Eren just breaking out on his own. I feel like if Eren broke out on his own, what we saw happen there at the ending, where all of the kind of officials are discussing in front of the person from Hizuru, what we saw Pixis choose to do in terms of deciding to work with the brothers, I think it's directly tied to the fact that this was just, you can't deny this from the public, and the government can't deny it, that there is a giant support for Eren, and that they are willing to riot, kill, be violent to be heard and to support him. And if he had just broken out on his own, it wouldn't have been an intimidation. It would have just been like, wow, he's powerful, cool, but not, wow, he has a lot of support.
It shows me, whether it's Zeke, whether it's Eren, whether it's both of them, the intelligence of of the idea, because yes, he was broken out, and it wasn't like Eren sent a message to be broken out. You know, I think that it just goes to show how in depth and sure they are of this plan, because in the face of massive titans and the colossal titan and just power, it seems like Eren and Zeke are leaning towards the power of destruction in the titan isn't what we need or want or are looking for right now. It is something that has to do with the belief of people. And I think that there are a lot of different ways Eren and Zeke could go about this whole situation. The two brothers trying to change the world, where they could have a rumbling, they could defeat people, they could kill people, they could try to be in charge of people so they can make the world into what they want it to, a peaceful place, the best they can, but they're not doing it in that way. They're going about it, which somewhat seems to me is like they want to give people the illusion of free will, the illusion of choice. They want people to choose to follow them rather than to fix their memories to follow them, or to just, you know, flatten them until they're scared into submission.
Or by forcing them to follow them because you know you need me, or you know I'm important.
Yeah, it's so cool and so well done, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, because it's worth talking about. But
like, I don't know if I articulated it perfectly. I just think that it says a lot more, and it's a lot more powerful than him breaking himself out.
The other day I put my hair back in like a ponytail and like walked up to Anna and I was like, look at me, I'm Eren Yeager. Like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know. I'm ready to watch this episode though. You?
Yeah.
Sweet. I can't imagine anything but all gas, no brakes this episode. That's ominous. What? Oh! Connie's mom.
So he was already planning this. Then. Season 2.
It's like he knows.
I love when we get to look at someone's face that's not a part of a conversation and a secret's being told to someone else. And it's like, is there a reaction there? Do you sense it? Did you plan this? Oh.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Orangutan has very specific powers. He needs them to have some bit of their his own spinal fluid within them before he's able to turn them.
That's what it seems like, yeah. And it freezes them. It paralyzes them initially. Interesting. And then I love how he used the words. He like used the paths.
Wait, so is the gas, like, does he need them to be frozen like that before he's able to turn them into Titans?
I think to be able to control them.
Okay. Because they looked a lot like the people on the plane who were tied up that Zeke also turned, like in the state of mind that they were in.
Yeah.
Remember, you saw.
And I was wondering why they weren't moving, and I thought they were drugged.
Children of the forest.
Are there children in this forest that Zeke and Levi are hanging out in? Is Kaya a child of the forest? Captive. Oh my god.
This music. God.
二人が恋人同士だったと思ってるけどね。
ベン、どうした？腹でも痛いのか？
Yes.
Nice plating. Fancy.
Even Gabby's like forgotten her transgressions.
Oh, he's trying to
His
impress
face.
them so bad.
こんな時に誰だ？調査兵団。
Oh, oh, timing.
もちろん仕事に戻って構わないよ。話をさせてもらいたいだけなんだ。
話。
I'm so nervous.
I know, like my heart.
あるだろ？悩みとかさ。
州兵が拘束された件だ。聞き取り調査に協力してくれ。とりあえずここで。
Okay. Oh, I'm so scared.
It's reserved for, and you know, we've seen people in here.
兵団内で噂のワインか。
The wine.
何でも上官たちゃっていいだろう。ちょっとぐらい。本当にそうだ。なんだよニコロ。ちょっとふざけただけじゃねえか。エルディア人にはもったいない代物なんだよ。ニコロ。
Is he trying to protect them? Because there is something in there?
何人だとかどうとか慣れ慣れしいんだよ。ちょっと親しくしたぐらいで。
I don't know if it's poison or it could be Zeke's spinal fluid that he's drugging everybody. So he can turn everybody.
He's trying to protect them from drinking that.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
なんか当たったんかもしれんぞ。
トイレに行けば助かるかもしれない。
He's faking it so he can go talk to him, isn't he?
出られるかもしれない。頑張って。
I love that she has some crumbs.
Fuck, more talks in basements.
私たちはマーレから来ました。戦士候補生です。
次期世界中の軍隊からなる大攻勢が仕掛けられると。
このことを仲間のマーレ人に伝えてください。
どうして戦士候補生がここに？
退却する敵の飛行船に飛び乗ったままこの島に上陸しました。
女の。
He realized. Falco realized.
ですがまだ数匹駆除した程度。卑怯な悪魔どもには絶対に。何よ。
殺したのか。お前がサシャを殺したのか。
マルコ、待って。ねえってば。マルコ。
ニコロ君、ベンとミアに何を？
He's gonna tell them, isn't he?
サシャを殺したのはこいつです。命を奪いました。まだガキですが、退却する飛行船の中でこいつがあなたの娘をサシャを撃ったんです。ブラウスさん、どうぞ。
He's not gonna want to do
あな
it.
たが殺さないなら俺が殺しますが。
Sasha's dad wouldn't be able to do it.
大変だ。来てくれみんな。
Oh.
サシャを撃ったガキ。どういうことだニコロ。お前何しようとしてんだ。おい、やるな。それ。
マルコは違うの。
お前をかばってこうなってるな。大事な人が。俺にも大事な人がいた。エルディア人だ。悪魔の末裔。だが彼女は誰よりも俺の料理をうまそうに食った。戦争から俺を救ってくれたんだ。食わせる料理を作るのが本当の俺なんだと教えてくれた。それがサシャ・ブラウスに生まれた彼女の名前だ。
人たちを殺された。そのサシャ・ブラウス、撃ち殺したのはそっちだ。
知るかよ、どっちが先とか。
その悪魔の女に惑わされてる。悪魔なんかに負けないで。
ニコロ君、包丁を渡しなさい。
There's no way.
そこまでです。ブラウスさん。
サシャは狩人やった。
はい。
森で獣をいて殺して食うてきた。それが俺らの生き方。同じ生き方が続けられん時代がサシャを森から外に生かした。
Children of the forest.
つながり、兵士になったサシャはよその土地に攻め、結局森を出たつもりを続ける巨大な森の中やったんや。まあ、森をさまようたからやと子供たちはこの森から出してやらんといかん。また同じところをぐるぐる回るだけ。我々大人の責任は。
ニコロさん。
首を動かすんや。
怪 怪我を見せて。
ミア、大丈夫か？
本当に私は憎くない。
Fuck.
隣の部屋へ。さあ。
すっかりメインが冷めちまったな。そのガキの口をゆすいでやってくれ。ワインが入っちまった。
え？あのワインには何が入っていたの？
多分ジークの脊髄液だ。
Oh, Nicola is such a good character! And we didn't see Kaya at all start reacting until the end.
That killed me. That's an amazing shot.
が生き残る希望だと信じて信じた結果がこのざまだ。たちが見てた希望ってのは一体何だった？あの死闘の結果がこの茶番だと。ふざけるな、冗談じゃねえ。ワインにジークの脊髄液が入ったって確証はない。一回調査船から大量に積まれていた。組織高官らに優先して振る舞うよう言われたんだ。誰からだ？イエレナだ。あいつだけがそう働きかけてた。あの義勇兵はわからないが。
They're just gonna replace the government.
でもおかしいだろ。硬直するんだろ。ジークがそう言っただけだ。た一言で済むその嘘の効果は絶大だ。
ジークの脊髄液が今までどんな使われ方をしたのか。
The score has been phenomenal this episode.
Conquered a capital in just one night using it.
悪魔の島を調査して世界を救うつもりが長生きなんてできねえだろうに。あなたみたいにはまだ俺はなれないけど、子供を殺すなんて。ニカル君。
私を守ったの。別に。監視を石でめった打ちにしたのも私。殺すのは私だけでいいでしょ。私を殺したくて仕方ないんでしょ。殺すって。君はそればっかりだね。
So sad. Yeah.
Oh, wow. What?
ハンジ団長。フロック。あなたはジークの居場所を知っているはずです。我々は兵団と交渉しない。エレンの判断です。ピクシス司令は我々を道案内する道中でエレンから始祖を奪う算段を立てるのに。いつかこうなる日が来る気がしてな。
He didn't think he could be trusted because of his love for Sasha.
聞くんだ。兵団内で振る舞われた。我々はジークの計画に応
They know.
えているんだよ。
It's Aaron's plan too.
Look at that! Look at that face!
でかいバカになるだけでしょ。飲まされたとは言ってないぞ。まさか。
So good. Fucking.
This character arc on Flock is just the most insane thing I've ever seen.
No more notes. Depth of field.
Oh, the blood. I wanted to talk with you. And Gabby's gonna be there to hear all of it! What is going on in this world?
Okay, that was Attack on Titan, Season 4, Episode 13.
I didn't write anything down.
I shouldn't have written anything down.
I couldn't. I mean, I was just so, like... captured.
One of the best episodes of this show, period. The first... I don't know what to say. The writing is so good, and I think even you gotta wait for a series to finish before you can make a judgment fully. But it's very difficult for me not to say this is one of the best things I've ever read, watched, listened to, it's one of the most well-written, captivating, compelling pieces of fiction I know. I'm like, it's so interesting because I'm not surprised, and I don't need to be. Like, I felt like as the episode progressed, I'm like, holy shit, everything's happening. Like,
Mm-hmm.
On Aaron's entrance there, I felt like I was pretty confident that he was going to show up at some point, but I didn't want to. I didn't
think it'd be here at the restaurant. To be honest, I really didn't think that.
I didn't think. This is gonna sound so cynical, but I didn't think I wanted it. Like, I think like there's no. I was waiting for this show to fuck up. I was waiting for this episode to go to take its foot off the gas and be badly written, but I don't know why. Like, I'm just so used to it, or like expecting it almost, and I'm like, no, this is what this is a dream scenario that would make this episode even better, but it's not gonna happen, and it happens, and everything from the wine very early on in the episode. Obviously, we got the Zeke information first for a reason. I couldn't emotionally handle the entire first half, and I couldn't logistically handle the second half. Like, I'm genuinely, I love taking notes in this show. I love appreciating small details and seeing
Or
things.
little dialogue that I absolutely adore.
I don't know if I should do it going forward. This is like, because I'm just so happy to be here. I want to appreciate the episode and every line that really stuck with me going forward, but it's hard.
There's like a downside to it too, of not having it, because now I'm like, oh, what were those lines I loved so much, and like, but still, I was just so.
I think I did take.
Oh.
Okay.
You just froze it on the screen of all of the villagers in Connie's village being changed, and you see the one that killed, that like Sasha fought, that was eating Kaya's mother.
Like, if you look at any of my other episodes of Attack on Titan, I'll write like 4 to 5 pages of notes, basically. This, I wrote 1.5, and I still feel like I wrote too much. But I'm glad that I wrote what I did, because I think one of my favorite moments in this show was Mr. Browse's speech. And the world is a forest is something I don't think I'm ever going to forget. Along with the adults should shoulder the sin.
Mm-hmm. And they have to be the ones that end the cycle. And what have I been saying about Gabby as a character, of why she frustrates me so much, is because she's a child that is showing that the cycle is continuing.
Dude.
And that's why it's so sad and frustrating to me. And that she was there, and the reason for the speech and those lines were because of her and her presence.
I know that you have mixed feelings about Gabby, but she is one of my favorite characters in this entire show, solely based off of how insane the writing is around
my
her.
Feelings aren't of anything like bad. Like, I don't dislike her as a character. I've never once said she's a bad character. I've just said that she makes me sad and frustrated because
that's fair.
of her, narratively, what she's doing.
It's just so fucking good. And I sound so stupid. You know what? Like, the fact that it was Mr. Bross delivering one of the most telling and real things, when he obviously, his diction and accent is very different, and some people could consider that being uneducated. We saw like a fake the way people talk being faked early on in the show, because obviously people's opinions change about you depending on how intelligent you come off.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Bross is one of the most intelligent characters in this entire show. Emotionally, because his in real time learning this information and rewording it and having the best opinion possible. And you know what? Holy shit. I knew it's not that I knew it was going to happen. It's like the perfect thing happened. I don't know how to phrase it. It's not like earlier in the show, right? My dream from season 1 was having a Titan hold a weapon. right? That kind of happened in earlier this season, right? With the Warhammer. That was like I wish this would happen, and it kind of happened. It's not this. That's not what's happening. I'm trying to make that clear. It's just, like, it's not me thinking that something's gonna happen or wishing something would happen. It's like, holy shit, they're doing it. Like, the second, one of the best parts of this episode was when Kaya tried to kill Gabby, because it was like, the whole speech had me, and I couldn't, like...
It's like you forgot about everyone else that was in the room first. At least I did. I didn't even think about Kaya receiving this information because they were playing up so much that Niccolo was telling Sasha's dad in front of Gabby that I completely forgot, because I was so into it that I forgot she was in the room and that she would be hearing this. I
feel like I'm stupid because I thought that the writer forgot that Kaya was in the room. While it was happening, towards the end of it, I was like, this is Mr. Browse.
Why haven't we shown Kaya's face on the screen?
It was right when Mr. Browse said the adults should shoulder the sin. I was like, that's the adults. I can't believe, like, we're not going to go back to Kaya's emotions here, because Kaya had a very strong connection to Sasha, as we just, like, was reiterated the other episode. And then they did it. And I'm just like, I'm so astounded. I don't know. I feel like I can't do this justice. Like, you know, I feel like I can't do this episode justice just by talking about it, because it was so good for me. The music was really amazing.
The music was really amazing.
It was fantastic.
The whole pacing of it was phenomenal. Like, I feel like I couldn't even really think for a lot of it, because it had me just so... I mean, come on, you enter in this restaurant, we're already feeling, the viewer, intense, kind of unsettled feelings, what's gonna go down? We sit down, the plate looks beautiful. We get that weird scene with Niccolo, but don't drink this wine, and he says some really mean things to Jean, and we're like, okay, something is up with the wine, which we thought it was when the MPs were drinking it, because it was just so suspicious how it was being handled. And then we get Hanji entering with everyone else, and then we get the kids sneaking down to the basement, and what happened with Falco, and then Gabby is like, kill me, not him, and then Niccolo tells the Browse family about what happened, and like everything, and then Kaya, and then he thought that'd be enough, but then Armin is now sitting across a table from Gabby, and you're like, wow, Armin getting to have a conversation with Gabby, that's insane.
It's crazy.
Interesting character pair up, and I'm really into it. And then we go back to the other room, and Flock is there giving me these facial expressions like he's living his best life, and I am like, what happened to you? Like,
nothing happened to him. He's always been this way.
But the craziest thing is, like, if you had told me, like, if we think about antagonists or villains or people that do bad things in the show, most of them are like super gray area, and you know, you can't really put a label on it, or you could be like, they are kind of the main antagonist of this story. But if you were like, Flock is different, but he also like was Aaron being any form of antagonist to anyone in this story, and Zeke being any form of antagonist to anyone in the story, is not a surprise. Is not a surprise at all. They kind of have been in their own way from day one. Like, Aaron was always the one kind of, you know, running forward, putting himself in harm's way. People were having to save him and chase after him. To some people, he would be seen as kind of like, he's chaos in a way. And he could cause bad things to happen. And then Zeke was also like a villain for some of it, but also is still very chaos. And so for them to do any bad things or any things that hurt people is not a surprise. But when you get a character that had such a righteousness when we first met them, like after they survived, he had this righteousness of like, Erwin should have been the one that was saved, and Armin didn't deserve, and Aaron, you were too emotional there, and you were selfish there. And then to go from like that Flock that we knew then, that was like a terrified boy that was like, what did I sign up for, to starting to like voice his opinions of being like, that wasn't the right decision. And then to turn into this like really dedicated, like into wanting the best for this this island and its people in what he viewed as the best, and so gung-ho. And he literally, in my mind, what he saw from Erwin before Erwin died, he felt probably after that he needed someone to fill that spot for him, because that it was such a monumental like spot that happened in that like perfect charge moment.
Exactly.
And he needed someone to fill that spot, and Armin didn't do it, and he was like, Armin doesn't deserve it. But I guess Eren has filled that spot for him, and the facial expressions from Flock,
they were amazing, and I want to look at them again. But you're very right with Flock, because Flock, in a lot of ways, because one of my memories of Flock is saying, well, if we're gonna go to our death anyway, it doesn't matter if we flee, right? And Erwin was like, yep. Flock didn't necessarily... Flock questioned Erwin. Flock questioned the idea, questioned the plan. They weren't backed into a corner. They were backed into a corner and then tied up, bound wrists and feet, and then blindfolded, and then like put in like a bucket full of cement. And then Erwin still thought of a way out. And it still ended up with at least Flock's survival, and at least Levi's survival, and at least Eren's and Hanji's, and like, of course, that was the realization he needed to say, the world needs somebody this crazy. The world needs a devil like this. Somebody to come up with a crazy ass idea like, let's just charge at the orangutan throwing us rocks with our good boy horses. No, like, nobody's gonna think of that. We need a devil like that, and that's what Eren's become. It's like Flock's wet dream. It's like Flock's perfect envision of an embodiment of a person right in front of him. It's so compelling.
I also just what it makes me also think of is, if Historia really was all powerful right now, I feel like things with Eren and how they treated him and how they would choose to follow him and Zeke's plan would go differently if there weren't these other higher up government officials that seem to have still more control, even though Historia is technically queen. It doesn't really seem like she is like all powerful, can make all of the decisions. Yeah. She's shown more as a figurehead, and I'm like, and is being thought of, at least in some of the older scenes we've seen, as like she's being used as to further the Eldian kind of just the history of it and the powers of it, and not that she should actually be the one making the decisions for the place she lives. And I feel like in Flock's like dream world, like Eren and Historia would be partnered together against everyone else. Like, if he wants someone crazy and he wants a devil on Earth, like, Historia has already proclaimed to us basically that she is willing to be the most hated girl in the world.
Yeah.
And I think Eren is willing to be the most hated boy in the world. And they wouldn't be in the situation they are of it, such a division, if Historia had, in my mind, like some amount of like actual real power. It seems that she's
Do you think
not being used
Historia
that way.
knows?
Why'd she get pregnant? Is she in on this? Does she know? Are those higher officials, do they not treat her well or treat her with respect like she actually is? I mean, think about how they talked, that one guy, Rogue, talked about her when he was drinking that wine that now we know is like some silly juice. And the way he talked about her, I think, shows a reflection of like all of these well, there was all, I think, men at the table, but I think there's women in the government too, like Hanji. But like all of these officials kind of still don't talk about her like she deserves their respect. I think Nile Doc was across the table from him, and it was like, hey, she's your queen. Like, talk about her with some respect. And I think that's interesting, that like the government still isn't steady and everyone's not still playing on the same team, like friends, and in any agreement whatsoever. Like, they're not even all in support of their queen.
Well, okay. I'm thinking, does Historia... Okay, so how the situation is. Historia, we know as a character who would put herself and her life on the line in order to help out for the greater cause. That was what her suggestion at being this sacrifice was, you know, at the table. But when it comes down to it right now, with how those what was the term used for the people in charge?
The MPs.
Yeah. The MPs, right? Like the people on top, the people getting poisoned. Those are the people who make the scouts' decisions. Those are the people who are in charge of what is Eldia now, Paradis, Paradis. If those are the people in charge, and they rule that, okay, Historia offered herself up, we're gonna kill her, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, then the scouts, Armin, Mikasa, Eren, they go along with that. They have to. They don't have a choice. So what does that mean for Eren? Does that mean that Eren is going to agree with that when he's the one who stood up at the table and said, no, I'm going to find another way? Is this that other way?
And remember the face that Historia made when Eren stood up and said that? Like, Historia had agreed, and then when Eren stood up for her, it was like she had like a sigh of relief of like, someone is really wants to try to find some other way than just sacrificing me or making me do something.
I don't know. Okay, so when when I'm thinking about the original plan and like Historia agreeing to it, all that is that's not shouldering the sin. That's continuing it. No, so there would have to be another way. There would have to be an idea to go along with the ideology that Mr. Browse preaches, and it's something that, like, the writing for Gabby to put her bloodied on the floor, hurt, devastated, overloading with information, and then hearing what this person has to say, there's not a single person on Earth who has the right to be, or on whatever planet this is, who has the right to be pissed, vengeful, and mean. And he's not doing it. He's still thinking about what it will take for the world, what the world needs to do to make sure this does not happen to another person.
He thinks like Armin. I think if we were to like categorize the characters,
emotional.
There's some that are in this category of, we don't want, why is it always kill this, kill that, just unending cycle, which is similar to all of the former royal people that had the founding titan and what they believed. And then the people that are like, well, yeah, that's all fine and dandy and it'd be nice if it was over, but we're about to get attacked. You know, and then there's like the people that are like, revenge, and it's like those are the three categories.
Yeah,
it's almost like people that want to have the benefit of the doubt, people that are more realistic of it. Oh well, I mean, we're about to get attacked, so we should probably prepare ourselves. And then the people that are like so fixated on their emotions and how what has happened has made them feel, and they need some release from that, and the only release that they feel like they can get is through furthering the actions.
God, this is so good. Because we had like an Armin line later in the episode about like kill this, kill that, and that I'm sure we're gonna get to like on where you can read the text in, because I'd love to, because I think you're right with the comparison. And just the idea of just tired of, like, that's the default. You're defaulting kill. Like, that's fucked. But a couple things that I want to talk about. Timestamp 9:51, I believe, was when it's just like just another example of how I can't put into words how much I love this writing, and I feel stupid, and I apologize. I really, really like this episode, and it like really sometimes you're like, man, that was a really good piece of media, and you just want to appreciate it. 9:51, zoom in on Falco. Obviously, it's red wine, but they're trying to make it look like blood. And it's like, oh, of course he's not dead. But what solidified the realization of it being something potentially being in the wine was the close-up of not blood dripping, but wine, the red substance dripping closer to his mouth. Because of course, that's what what's his name?
Niccolo?
Niccolo would be looking out for. He didn't try to hit
He
Falco
wasn't
here.
on purpose trying to... That was the first thing to grab. It was the only thing he had. I'm sure if he thought about it, which weapons do I have to hit this girl right now? He would have probably just gone with his fist if he had 5 seconds to think about it. But he was reacting to hearing this, and he was so distraught that he just grabbed it.
Well, no, I think that it was the right call, because like...
Well, I didn't say
Well, no, I meant like I don't think that it was like, oh, first thing I can grab. I think it was most damage inflicted on this piece of shit little girl who killed my
right.
my
But
life.
I'm trying to say that because of he wanted to do that, he wasn't thinking what he was grabbing, like like he wasn't really thinking comprehension wise. Oh, this is the wine that has Zeke's spinal fluid in it.
I definitely agree that wasn't the thought in his head, but I think he knew it. Like I think that he like because why would he care?
Split second. He obviously cared once he realized that it was the wine.
He cared once he realized it was the wine on Falco. He didn't give.
Did it matter that it was Falco?
Yeah, because
I thought it was just the fact that the wine was going to go into someone's mouth.
Well, and it's not whose. I don't think he would have wanted that wine to go in Falco's mouth. But he was willing to
kill Falco. He had a knife to his neck.
After the fact.
Yeah, but.
And then he tried to save him. I'm just saying, like I think he full intent wanted to kill Gabby there in any way and have her experience the worst life possible, which would have been potentially getting turned into a Titan or being killed and hit in the bottle right there. Obviously, he has a knife to them later too.
Yes.
But I just thought it was really interesting. And then we get some great lines from Niccolo at 11:21, I think, that it starts his talking about Sasha, and some of the dialogue is just so good. Like some of the word choice in particular. I cared about someone too. An Eldian, spawn of the devil, throwing your words right back at you. One who loved my cooking more than anyone. And then she saved me from this shitty ass war. Nobody wants to be in this position. Nobody wants to be killing each other for the most part. She taught me that I like making people happy with food. And that's the line that got me.
And it makes you think back to the little like face that he made right as she was like crying eating his food. It was like that was the moment that like
She's the girl you stole from me.
The girl you stole from me, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Like Sasha's. It's so interesting because the death of Sasha. Like, I'm hurting worse from it right now than when I saw her die.
I just want to thank the mangaka, because if you're gonna kill, as an author, if you're going to kill a character that is been followed for seasons and well loved, it is one of the best things ever that you continue to show them appreciation in non-overkill ways, but ways that feel true to the characters you've painted and the narrative you painted, to continue to show appreciation or mention of that character for the viewer is one of the best experiences. And I think that, like, yes, Erwin is still talked about and remembered, but Sasha is being given so much love and attention that it makes me incredibly happy, because we've watched actions of her and her since she was a kid. And we've seen her go from this. She was one of the main examples of super innocent, childlike wonder, comedic, and for her to be the one that is now a device. Her death is a device now of reiterating that this is a horrible cycle that is happening, and kill and kill and kill doesn't necessarily mean that the people you're killing are horrible people or aren't loved by somebody. And it's like Sasha is the device to show the complexities of war. I
think that that's the perfect way to put it. I think that, can you imagine doing a character more justice in their death than how they've treated Sasha's death?
It's been amazing.
It's phenomenal. When Mr. Bross asked, after the knife's been put down, asks Gabby, "Are you okay?" Gabby's expression on her face. You were talking about Flock's great expressions this episode, and I agree.
Well, it was more just because his were so out of pocket.
Yeah, crazy. They were out of pocket. But like Gabby, like the way that they're drawn, Gabby's eyebrows, and like how she's looking right now. And this is before Kaya, right? Like it's so good. Like her realization, or like it's almost like it's more than surprise, and it's more than shock. It's a lack of understanding and why are you asking me?
Right.
If I'm okay. That's what you shouldn't be. You should be mad at me.
It's
I would be mad at me.
Mm-hmm. Like Gabby is so focused on emotions that are more tied to anger, and I feel like she tries to live in that area, and so it is so cool to see when she starts to her emotions start to take her into an area that I believe she's probably uncomfortable being in, which when she saw her friends die, her first reaction was anger, not grief. And like that was how she showed her grief, was that immediately move into this angry fight back revenge mode. And to have her start to slip into a sadness, a lost, a confusion, a unsure about anything and everything place in grief, and also she's not just grieving the death of people that she loved, she's grieving the history that she's been told, even though and I don't mean that she doesn't believe it anymore fully, but I mean that she's being shown examples of like that these people are similar to the people she knows, and she's hearing them say things that she never believed a devil, a spawn of the devil, would ever say. This compassion, like all of it is taking her into an emotional spot that I don't believe she's probably that comfortable in or likes to be in.
I don't think her brain will let it happen. It's like
she'd probably rather
it's your world,
fight or run away.
She'd rather die, as far like it's her entire
yeah I'm just
world.
talking about like from instead of feeling sadness,
yeah
she'd rather like go hit a tree in the backyard or something.
Definitely. It's just I don't know, she's great. I'm really enjoying what they're doing with her character. I'm glad that she's at a table with Armin and Mikasa and Eren.
And
like
Mikasa was like, "Don't you hate at first? Like, why did you help me?" And Mikasa was like, "I don't need a reason."
Yeah, because
cool.
like when we're sitting here at the table before Eren comes, it's like, oh man, didn't you feel immediately like, oh, this is kind of like reminiscent for Armin and Mikasa, probably, because it's almost like they'd be talking to like Eren in this situation. He's the missing piece of this puzzle. And then
so you know what I want to go off of that and say something that was like right before this, that like just a way that things were shot is Mikasa and Armin were in the hallway standing behind Gabby, and they were so tall in the frame that you didn't get to see all of their faces, but you see Gabby, and that just really hit home. Like, oh my god, these people we've been following since they were Gabby's size, and now Gabby's in front of them, and they're so tall that they're out of frame, and they're behind her, and they're walking her to this room, and it's like, it's so cool because it's almost like, if I jump off of what you said, Mikasa and Armin, I feel like probably haven't felt like they had a real connection or understanding of Eren since he was a kid. Like this Eren, this grown-up Eren, I feel like they're trying to fight to convince themselves that they understand what he's thinking. And they both want to talk to him and figure out why and ask him these questions. But now with Gabby at the table, it's almost like they're sitting down with someone, a kid that is exactly reminiscent to them of Eren, and probably their last feeling of connection of when they truly understood Eren. And then for Eren to walk in the room...
I don't know. It's so good. Like we got this entire backstory, and not backstory, just we got after Sasha's death, after Gabby killed her. It's like the ultimate way to utilize that death to make an impact on the story in a insane, amazing way. I wonder if we're going to meet the guards family that Gabby killed and bludgeoned to death, and maybe have a whole other like dinner with them. Maybe they're nice too. They could teach us some wisdom.
Yes, I'm sure they're very nice. They probably also raise orphans themselves.
Maybe, I don't know. But
okay, we have one more thing. I don't know if you might have more things, but I have, at least in my mind right
Eren
this second,
comes in.
One more thing. Yes, and I want to speak on why does he... Okay, he wanted to talk with Armin and Mikasa. He appears and immediately shows them a cut on his hand. Why does he need to intimidate these two people that have tried to faithfully and loyally believe in him and understand him? Why does he need to do a hey, look, don't do anything funny, or look, I'm wounded, I could destroy this place in 1 second. They would meet and talk with him, no, even if he didn't do that. So I was like, why did he feel like, I mean, it was a cool shot, but why is Aaron's character feeling it is necessary to show Mikasa and Armin that before sitting down with them?
Do you want my funny answer or
I want
my
any answer?
Answer.
Both.
I think that there's a pretty decent chance that Aaron, he's in a kitchen, he's in a restaurant, he could have accidentally cut his hand and didn't realize it, and then was like, hey guys.
Oh, hey, what was that?
No
threat.
Shoot.
No, you thought I was trying to intimidate you? No, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I was chopping vegetables. Silly me.
Yeah.
But you want to wrap it? No, I'd rather the blood just drip on the tablecloth. No. Yeah, white tablecloth. Yeah, I'm making it red spotted, decorative influence.
Aaron has obviously chosen to deviate from a path of Armin and Mikasa for a very, very strong reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's a good reason, but it's because I don't know it, but it's a reason that he feels strongly enough that he couldn't get what needs to be done if Mikasa and Armin were part of the plan in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, there could be harbored feelings of resentment, anger, or an initial call to action to try to help out from Armin and Mikasa. If they think what they're doing is right because they are not 100% filled in on Aaron's plan and how it could be good, then they would want to save Aaron. By saving Aaron, I mean stopping him from doing something stupid, stopping him from getting into more trouble than he's already in. And how would that be done but detaining him now again and putting him back in jail? So I think Aaron is coming into the situation acknowledging that, knowing there could be a thing that could pop up in a second, but at the end of the day, his goal here is to have a conversation, and I think this is the only way that for sure it would have happened in this scene.
If we think about why Aaron might not have already been super communicative with these two characters and wanted them, we were shown that they were like peas in a pod, they were best friends. Like, why wouldn't Aaron have wanted them to be involved in every step of this? And I think that you could think of it as a protective measure, possibly, and maybe in some universe he feels like he's protecting them by not having them follow him, or maybe he feels like they would try to stop me from doing this thing, but I've already decided I'm going to do it, and so I need to keep them at arm's length and keep them away so they don't stop me.
I don't know.
But why would you want a conversation here if you didn't want them on board? Is he just wanting to tell them, like, hey, this is what I'm doing, do you want to help? Or is he just
I think it's a great
talk
question.
To them?
What are you thinking? Do you think that he's trying to get his friends to understand, and that, like, now, because the plan's already in action and maybe this is the one time he's able to try to convince them? Or do you think that he's stalling here, or like there's some other thing he's waiting for or hoping will happen because of this, or a response will be elicited? Like, it's interesting because as far as I know or think, Aaron has accounted for everything in this situation minus Falco and Gabby. So my head goes
I mean, what did Zeke say? Didn't he say these are the miscalculations?
Yeah.
When Gabby and Falco appeared?
So I'm wondering how, if that's going to affect what Aaron wants out of this conversation.
All I know is that Gabby being there at the table is going to be very entertaining for us next episode.
I need Aaron and Gabby to talk to each other. I need it so bad, and it's gonna happen.
You saw Gabby's face there at the very, very end. Is that a fear, or is that a revving up of excitement that this is the object of her hatred sitting right next to her?
I think that's it, because I think that there was a lot of potential for development for Gabby this episode, but being right next to the person whose name you've uttered time and time again after the massacre he caused, I think she's going to try to break.
And it's different too, because she was chasing after him.
Yeah.
He was far away. That is different than the person sitting right beside you with their hand cut.
Yeah.
Where you are just a warrior candidate and you don't have anything to fight back. It's different than charging ahead and chasing after and shooting with a gun, to try to hit him. There's something more permanent with the fact and the placement, and something way more intimidating, way more scary to being right up close to the person that you've been chasing after. And I don't think she maybe even thought about how it would actually go down once she got in front of him. She was trying to get in front of him, but now she is, and it's like...
It's at the time she least expected to,
Where she feels all these things now. She's already in a very emotional state.
God, now you guys knew about the wine?
And he just kind of turns.
Yeah.
Sorry, he went back to what the flock
he's a maniac. He's crazy.
Oh my God.
It's kind of awesome how
so
unhinged
awesome.
he is.
Like if someone had said to me, "Is Flock gonna be in this series anymore?" and I'd be like, "Toupee on top of his hair guy? Yeah, maybe not. I don't think so."
I think Gabby's mind is shattered in every way possible. Like there's nothing you could add on that could have made this worse. There's nothing. Like other than Reiner coming in next and sitting down.
Oh, are we having that meeting now? Okay, let me grab a seat.
Yeah.
Reiner being there too.
I want to talk to you guys. Reiner, get in here. Like,
oh.
It's just, she's shaking.
And
She's
Aaron
like a puppy.
Aaron knew about the spinal fluid thing.
I love the effect of the blood
soaking
pouring
the
on
to
the table and it's spreading. Aaron looks so sad and
there's a sorrow in that expression.
An
exhaustion, a sorrow.
It's a this is my burden to bear emotion, expression. And that's what I get.
Mr. Bross was like, the adults are to carry the sins.
Yep.
I feel like Aaron thinks he's to carry the sins and end all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that's like, I'm gonna go through hell and then maybe hell again if the light of the tunnel isn't salvation, and then continue to do so. Like he's always been willing to charge ahead alone.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the mid-roll right now.
There was a mid-roll?
Yeah. For sure.
I just want to say this, that we've known that Falco has a crush on Gabby. Like, that is a fact. And we also know that Gabby really didn't want Falco to sacrifice himself and come with her on the airship. Like, she was really much, like, a lot like, why did you come with me? And then to have, instead of Falco being the one awake and being questioned on his feelings for Gabby, Gabby is being questioned. Like, do you care about this kid? I cared about someone too. Like, I know we already said that in the discussion. I just wanted to bring it up again. That Falco was unconscious, and, like, to have that happen all at the same time.
I really liked last episode's mid-roll with shirtless Aaron, but this one's better. It has a lobster on it.
Oh, he's cute.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah, the regional food of Marley consists largely of fish, shrimp, and other various shellfish. The famous red wine of southern Marley is often used as a secret ingredient in their cuisine.
Interesting.
So has he also been feeding it to people, not just having them drink
Remember,
it?
Sprinkling in the wine at the food scene?
Yes.
I have one more thing, and it's like a crazy outlandish Ben thing.
Crazy outlandish Ben thing. Okay.
2034.
2034.
You ever played 2048? That phone game?
No.
Played it in high school a bunch. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so my theory is that Annie's awake.
Okay.
And I think that because in the background of talking about Pixis, we see Hitch walking from right to left, or what I believe to be Hitch.
Wait, okay.
So
frantically devising a plan. Oh no, it's the one of Pixis' like main people.
Oh, it's the person who came into the room and that would have been cool.
When he was talking to Yelena, and that person was the one that sat down with the book to write down.
Yeah. Would have been cool.
If it was Hitch. I'm gonna look out for Hitch in the background.
Yeah. Worth a shot. That was I'm sorry if I did not do a great job putting into words my thoughts and emotions this episode, because I feel like I need to digest it a bit more, but I think that I feel bad about that and maybe insecure that I didn't do such a good job because this episode is so important to me. This is one of my favorite episodes of Attack on Titan.
And it's also just very hard to articulate yourselves when you're feeling so many things and you have so many thoughts. Putting thoughts into words that are easy for others to comprehend, but also fully getting your point across and everything that you feel across is a challenging thing in itself.
When a story or work of fiction goes on a long time, there's a lot of pressure for it to have a good ending. I think that when you try to tell somebody if an ending's good or not, a lot of that is it comes down to subjectiveness. And if you like the decisions made on a subjective basis. But the thing that's overlooked is that I don't think it's about if you make the right choice in the end of the story that makes the most people happy or sad, that makes the whole product a great finisher or landing it, you know? I think it's the consistency of the writing. And if the writing falls off at the end, that's going to make the story not stick the landing. If the writing stays consistent, then it has a 50-50 chance at sticking the landing. If the writing gets better as it progresses, or at least appears that it does because of all the foreshadowing and
the
pieces,
confidence
callbacks,
of the writer as well.
It's not over. But I'm just blown away, man. I really, really like this show, and I cannot fucking wait to finish it and read the manga, to be honest.
I want to rewatch it. I'll probably rewatch in dub.
Yeah.
Just for a new kind of experience.
Well, it's divisive, but I like watching both because I think both have different things to offer. Subs usually more true to the source material, as well as the voice acting I really like, and I'm more into it. But there are some shows that have great voice actors in it. I watched a couple episodes of Mob Psycho in the English dub, and I think that it has a lot of different unique things to bring to the table that the sub doesn't. And I would love to experience that with Attack on Titan.
There's also the I think we've talked about this before. You've expressed it. There's a comprehension difference that we think that obviously we're reading all of these things and trying to comprehend them at the same time, that there is a moving visual in the background. And I feel like to be able to rewatch this series in a full, not having to do as much mental work and fully just take in everything together as a whole, I might be quicker to realizing things or to understanding what someone meant by something. We obviously, I try my best, but
it's interesting.
It will be nice to see it in a different format.
Because I had this thought, I don't know, like I just at one point a bit ago that I was like, we watched the first season of Demon Slayer in dub on the channel. We watched Death Note in dub on the channel, and in an experience and the way that I enjoy the material, I prefer the sub. I will enjoy the material more if it's subbed 9 times out of 10. Yes. But when it comes to reacting to a show and discussing it immediately after you finish watching it, it feels, since we've tried both, it feels a bit easier, or it's a bit easier to comprehend for me if it's dub. So it almost feels like we've been watching Attack on Titan with like Rock Lee weights on a bit. And it's like, I love it and I'm enjoying it more, probably because it is the sub. But there are some things I'm sure that I've been so stupid about and missed, and apologies for it. But it's hard to catch everything that's in writing and in visual, because I want to appreciate both. I think they are worth appreciating. Because time and time again, we are reminded that it's the little things in visuals in Attack on Titan. From Bert Holt about to bite his hand that we missed. Oh, yeah. From last episode when Yelena was doing the Eren salute and out of like it's rewarding visually. So I'm excited to go back to that as well. God, I love the show, man.
Love this show.
You good?
Yes, and Zeke and Levi dynamic does not disappoint. They should be on stage together, sitting on chairs, and someone should make them discuss things, and people can pay to go see it.
I guarantee you there's some fanfic there.
He's like, I'm popular.
Yeah. I was
popular enough.
Pretty popular, yeah. All right, you good?
Okay. Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. We hope to see you next time.